Shabbat Shalom. I want to just say to Ari and to Emma, it was beautiful to watch you both. So, I went to my daughter's college visiting day. Is it called visiting day? Visiting day. Parents' weekend, thank you. Every time I say it, someone's like, it's not summer camp, it's parents' weekend. I went to parents' weekend. And it was a really fun and fascinating experience. We stayed in an Airbnb that was like, I don't know, a 15, 17-minute walk from the campus. And one of the things that I had no idea about before I sent my daughter to college was this club culture. Does anyone know about club culture? Okay, so what happens is you get into college, and then soon after you have to apply to be in clubs. And so my daughter said it's like actually harder to get into the clubs than it is to get into college. So, I mean, and you have to apply to get into every club. In fact, she jokingly, but was very serious in the end, was like, I am joining the Kumba Black Gospel Choir. And I was like, why are you doing that? And she said, because everyone is welcome. And she's like, and I think that is so nice. And so she is a proud member of the Kumba Gospel Choir. Ask her when she comes, she can move. Okay. But anyway, my story is that this club culture is sort of pervasive, and I hear that it's on a lot of different college campuses. So when we went to visit, we were staying at this Airbnb a little bit off campus, and it was morning time on Shabbat, and so I was downstairs in the lobby, and I was drinking a cup of tea. There's a guy who was also there. He was from Sedona, Arizona, and he was visiting his daughter who was studying neuroscience. Great. As I mentioned, he came from Sedona. He did not know, not a lot of Jews in Sedona, and his daughter was loving college thus far. Great, so we start to talk, and I said to him, like, in an effort to make conversation, I asked him about Sedona, I asked him what he did, we spent, a little bit of time talking, and then I said, is your daughter's happy? Yes, and I said, is she doing any of the clubs? And he says to me, well, she's mostly studying, like neuroscience, and spends a lot of time in the library. He said, but actually she is. She's doing this club, it's called the Shabbat. And I have to say, he was so excited. He was like, she does this thing, it's called the Shabbat, and she loves it. And then he went on to tell me, and by the way, like, I haven't said anything to him about who I am or what I do or where I come, like nothing. So he goes, and she loves it. And he goes, it's this thing. He goes, it's so cool. They get together, it's like once a week. I swear this is true. He goes, they get together, it's like once a week, and they get together, and they like hang out, and they have this like really beautiful meal, and there's some singing, and there's like some wine, and he's like, and there's a lot of kids, all kinds of kids, and the kids love it. And he's like, does your daughter ever do the Shabbat? I know. And I have to say, like, you might be wondering how I responded, but I actually couldn't respond. Like, it was like, my heart was like melting hearing him talk about the Shabbat. And so I said, I'm not sure, but I think she has, and I love hearing about the Shabbat. Like, that was it. So anyway, I was like holding this inside of me. And that night, we went to Chabad, and we participated in the Shabbat. But what was really quite amazing to me was that there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at the Shabbat, but about 2/3 of them were Jewish, and the other 1/3 of them were actually not Jewish. They were friends of the Jewish kids. And it was actually quite amazing to see the Jewish kids proudly bringing their non-Jewish friends to the Shabbat. So I was talking to one of my daughter's friends. His name is Arv. He's a New Yorker. He's of Indian descent. and this really great kid. And I said to him, like, Arv, and I was like, do you always come to Chabad for Shabbos? And he goes, oh yeah. And he's like, actually, truth be told, I've been here every Shabbat. But there was one time that I was thinking about not coming, but then I was walking down campus and I saw the rabbi and he was like, hey, Arv, are you coming to Shabbos? And then I was thinking, like, how can I not go to Shabbos? The rabbi just invited me to Shabbos. So he's like, so we've been here for, 8 weeks, and I've been here every single Shabbos. So I was thinking about this, right? Like, how deeply impactful it is to be invited to a place where you feel welcomed and you feel like you belong. In the Torah portion that we read this week from Chayei Sarah, we see this really beautiful story where Abraham, who's just lost his beloved wife Sarah, has to find a spouse for his son, Isaac. And so he sends Eliezer, his servant and his helper and his bestie, and he sends him away to find a wife for Isaac. And Eliezer has to figure out what he's looking for. How do you find a wife? What is he supposed to find? And he ends up going to the well, and he finds this woman, Rebecca. And Rebecca offers water to Eliezer and to all of his camels. And then she says, hey, do you have a place to stay? Come back to my house with me. We'll take care of you. And he goes back, and they feed him, and they give him water, and they give him a place to stay, and eventually the shidduch is made. But I feel like one of the most beautiful parts of this story is that it's such a reminder to us that kindness matters. It just matters, and it matters a lot. And I imagine that it's not only Arv who responded to an invitation that was extended with kindness and care, and it transformed his college experience, or that it was not only the neuroscience student who joined the Shabbos, or the Shabbat. But I imagine that everyone in here, that there are many people here who are maybe here at shul, maybe at services, maybe doing something in their life that's different because someone was kind and extended an invitation or was gracious to you. And I'm just wondering, just with a little show of hands, did someone invite you to do something Jewish that made a difference in your life? And if it did, will you just raise your hand? Yeah. If you look around, do that one more time just so everyone can see. So the power of an invitation, the power of kindness, it changes lives, and it changes our Jewish world. So my hope is this Shabbat, that we can all be really generous with our love that we have for our Judaism, and also invite other people to love it like we do. Whether they're Jewish or not Jewish, what we really will see is that we can change the world for the better. Shabbat Shalom.
Oh.